That man who keeps in his purse both gold and silver that he need not spend is good to his family and loyal to his king. Hello, this is Palmer the coach, and welcome to the Coaching Minute. We are now on to the second last chapter of the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. That is chapter 9, and it is titled The Clay Tablets of Babylon. Now, this chapter is a continuation of the last one, where we saw a young man called Dabasir, who had been a slave, and he goes out and is challenged to think whether he has the soul of a slave or the soul of a free man. He decided he had the soul of a free man, and he chose to come back to Babylon and face his problems, those which had made him flee, especially the money that he owed to many of his old friends, and that had led to his wife leaving him and going back to his father-in-law. So he comes back, and he is determined to make of himself a worthy man. The gold lender called Mathon had given him good advice and a plan of how he could improve his lot, and he had ended up getting a job with this camel trader, who was given a job by the king to buy horses for him. So he had a little income. And in the clay tablets is where he records his journey towards freedom that comes from having all his debts paid. So what he did, and he has recorded in these tablets, which is the subject of this subchapter, is with advice from Mathon. He created a plan which had three prongs. The first one, he said that I have learned that unless my wealth is growing, I will never be free. So he decided of all that he was going to be paid from the work that he did for the camel trader, he would put aside at least 1/10 for his own security. The second thing that he determined that he was going to do is that for his own expenses, for the family, for clothing his wife, for paying his house, for their food, he would not spend more than 7/10 or 70% of all the money that he earned. And then he said the remaining 20%, he was going to be applying it to pay his debt until it is all fully paid. So he took a tablet and wrote all the people that he owed money and how much he owed each one of them. And according to the record, he owed slightly over 100 pieces of silver and some 100 pieces of bronze to all of them. And he decided to visit each man and share with them the plan that he had crafted in order to pay all of them. And he told each one of them, whatever I earn, even if it is just 10 pieces of silver, I am going to set apart 2 pieces of silver to pay all of your debt. But I will divide it equally amongst all of you so that no man doesn't get a few pieces of bronze until it is fully paid. And he records that one person who was his great friend there before was really annoyed with him when he went to explain this, and he threw him out of his house. He met a farmer who was really pleading that he was in need, and he asked that he should be paid first. And there was this money lender who had given him a lot of money, and he threatened to get him arrested if he doesn't pay him all at once. But he just walked out. The rest of them, and there were many, he had a list of over 20, were thankful that he was man enough to come and face his past and pay his debt. So he went on and started working with peace. The first month, he was paid his salary, which was, I think, like 19 pieces of silver. And sure enough, he put 10% aside. He visited each of every of those people he owed debt and divided the 20% equally amongst them, proportionately according to how much he owed each and every one of them. And most were very pleased. Even the one who had threatened to have him arrested, he asked him, can I keep the money? He said, no, just bring it. And this way, he went on month after month. And those who were skeptical began believing in him and praising him and encouraging him and learning from him and telling others about him. And over a period of 12 months, he records in this clay tablet that he was impressed because he had literally paid everyone their debt. He was happy at home with his wife, and he was finally an honorable and respected man in his city. And these clay tablets, which were discovered by an excavator many years after, were sent to a university where you had the people who understand archaeology to decipher and translate. And the professor who did the translation says that he himself and his wife were in such terrible debt, they were just barely surviving. And after reading this story, he had decided to try that plan on his own debt. And lo and behold, he was writing back to the archaeologist who had dug up these tablets and telling him how well that plan had also worked for him, because he had finally got out of debt. He was becoming wealthy. He had enough money to spend for his family, and they could enjoy holidays and own a home, which they never used to there before. And he is just thankful to this man who lived so many thousands of years earlier, who had not only benefited from this plan, but had also decided to write about it so that it can help others. And really, that is the lesson that we are learning from this chapter. That yes, we all have a history. In our lack of knowledge, we may have gotten ourselves into ways that were not good. We may be owing people money. We may be many years working and we can't show anything for our work. Family may be unhappy with us because some of our habits have meant that they cannot even survive well because of our habits. What this chapter is telling us is that we all can have a second chance. If we are determined, if we choose that we have the soul of free men ready to face our circumstances, it just takes a plan. 1/10 of all you earn is yours to keep, so we must keep that going. And we set apart 70% for our living expenses and decide that we shall never spend more than that. And then 20% we apply to pay each and every person that we owe, so that we are finally debt-free. I want to finish by reading a quote from a man called Al-Kahad. This is the man whom Dabasir owed a lot of money, and who told him off the first time he came to explain how he was going to pay them, and threatened to have him arrested if he didn't pay his debt fully at once. And finally, after he had his debt paid, this is what he said to Dabasir. "You were once a piece of soft clay to be pressed and molded by any hand that touched you. But now you are a piece of bronze, capable of holding an edge. If you need silver or gold at any time, come to me." That is how honorable you become when you take charge of your affairs and set yourself free. So that is the coaching minute for today. As always, reach out for a helping hand, and if you can, hold someone else's too. Thank you.